Guys, it's my favorite time of the week. It is the Scouts Eye, and with my favorite scout, Voch Lombardi. Voch, what do you got for us today?
Appreciate you, Mr. Broaddus. We got a little bit of Cowboys versus Eagles. Got a handful of plays I wanted to show you to highlight how well our Cowboys did. This one in particular, second half when the Cowboys really buckled down and did well versus the run there. Let me bring it back and talk about some details here, Bryan Broaddus. Now, James Houston, we had this conversation earlier in the week there. James Houston was a little more sound in the run game than some of his colleagues there. So James Houston, they're running this counter right at him. If James works upfield, then he's beat.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem, Bryan Broaddus, but instead.
Did you feel like real quickly, though, that that was something that maybe Fowler?
Fowler had a big issue.
Yeah, Fowler was this. So much better technique from this edge is what we've seen from Fowler.
Fowler had a big issue here because, Bryan, when you run upfield here, it's a lot of space right there.
Right.
It's a lot of space right there, and that's really what the Eagles are trying to do. But instead, you see James Houston coming down thumping on the puller. And then what you have, Bryan, more team defense, guys coming up, filling gaps. I want y'all to look at James Houston, but also keep eyes on the linebackers there. The linebackers are going to come up and thump and fill as well. And what you get is this big wall that forces Saquon Barkley to cut this thing back. Now, what's most important, take a look at Kenny Clark. And I want y'all to use all of your context clues here. Big wall just happened on this side, and then we also had Kenny Clark on the inside. Look at what happens with Barkley. Barkley's going to get the ball, start one way, go back right into the hands of Kenny Clark. And that's fantastic run D for the Cowboys. Did you have some, Bryan?
Yeah, if you could, run it back there for a second, though. And look at the play, though, from Wilson there on the backside, playing down in the box. Watch the fill that he's going to have right there. Boy, they got all those gaps taken care of right there on that run.
Team defense, Bryan Broaddus. Now, earlier, I don't know if it was some hero ball going on. I don't know what kind of happened there, Bryan, but they seem to play some really good team defense. Now, let's flip this to the offensive side, Bryan Broaddus. Let's just run this play and just have a big old smile at what our Cowboys offensive line was able to do, Bryan. Now, the Cowboys are going to run counter here, Bryan, but let's just talk about why this counter is a little bit different. I want to go to my whiteboard and just talk about some rules here for a second, Bryan, if that's okay.
That's all right.
I'm going to go to my whiteboard. Now, typically what you get with counter, ladies and gentlemen, let's say we're running counter to the right, okay? You're going to get your front side guys down blocking. You'll normally get a guard pulling and kicking some edge over here, and then you're going to get a back tackle coming up to deal with a linebacker. Now, let me tell you what the Cowboys did differently, and this just kind of talks about creativity and what they're doing, right? Let me just run this. Boom, you're going to see a guy in motion immediately, and he's going to be 1, 2, 3, bam. Last time it's the guard, Bryan. Normal rules, guards pulling and kicking. This time you have your fullback or your tight end pulling and kicking. And, Bryan, I thought that was interesting because what it does is that it changes up the look. If you're a linebacker, you're reading keys, you're looking for guard pulling, and maybe that's your key to go read counter. This time what the Cowboys did, Bryan, is that they had 40 Hunter Lipke pulling and kicking. But then you had your rookie, Tyler Booker, pulling and wrapping to the linebacker. Take a look at Booker right here, right? From the right guard spot coming up, bam. So now you get 2 blocks here, and another block right there to kind of seal this thing up. But let me tell you what the most important part of this play was, Bryan. You can't live with penetration.
You cannot.
And the Cowboys ain't used to getting a whole bunch of movement.
You're absolutely right about that.
The Cowboys don't get a whole bunch of movement. And we talked about tight end and how important blocking tight end is going to be to the party.
I'm glad you're pointing this out.
Let's talk about it, Bryan Broaddus. You get Brevin Spanford and Tyler Guyton. Take a look at what they do to beloved number 96 right there. We get movement.
Wow.
We get movement, Bryan.
That is impressive right there. So the key, though, Voch, is you get the double team that you were talking about, Spanford and then Guyton get the double team. They get Hall out of the play. That allows the pullers to be able to get. There's no penetration by the Eagles to throw the path of the pullers off.
100%. If 96 would have whooped both of these characters, now it's just a big bunch, and maybe, Williams can't see it as well, right?
The pullers would have had problems.
One more thing about this Guyton double team, Bryan, about this Guyton and Brevin Spanford double team is that it starts off here. You get your movement there, and then Guyton with the vision.
Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. That's really impressive.
Look at Guyton's eyes right there, Bryan. He's going to come off real late, get a chip, and bam, that seals it for Williams. That's one last hole for him to run through. Now, Bryan, we're not done smiling.
Wow.
We're not done smiling.
That was really good.
Take a look. We know how Big Tyler gets down. Take a look at Big Tyler versus Jordan Davis right here.
Yeah.
Movement, getting bodies out the club, Bryan Broaddus. One more thing, do not stop smiling. Take a look at Cooper Beebe right here. We're moving bodies, Bryan Broaddus. I think that's something that we need to be just aware of. The Cowboys can move guys now. Maybe there's some room to grow in the passing game, but run game, we feel fine right now. Did you have something on that, Bryan Broaddus?
No, I tell you what, though. I like how you pointed out everything. Again, it all is about the double team. You get the pullers, but then you talk about the individual blocks along the way there. You get the down blocks, the center block and back. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no penetrators there. And then Williams, he's just able to find the hole right up inside, though. Nice job by the line up front, and then also the back with the power to finish it.
100%, Mr. Wolf. Now, how about this one, Bryan Broaddus? We talk about personnel, and how personnel can move everybody around. We were just talking with a frown on our face about Solomon Thomas. He has to play A-gap. We're not happy with Solomon. He's 305 pounds or so.
Sure.
We don't want him playing A-gap, Bryan. But what you get when you get Kenny Clark, now you can move. Now you can move pieces around there. So we got Clark here, Jay Toia there. But the key here, Bryan Broaddus, is that you got Solomon Thomas, who was just playing A-gap for you, and plays B-gap most of the time. Now he's lined up at this 5 right here, Bryan, and he's dealing with a tight end one-on-one. So most of the time, Bryan, when there's double teams in the middle, somebody's got to win the one-on-one, Bryan. Somebody's got to win it, because you can't live in this world where Eagle tight ends can block your edge guys, because they're just going to keep double teaming you in the middle. Solomon Thomas needs to be blocked by a left tackle, and if not, this needs to happen every single time. Not just Solomon, but this needs to happen for Donovan Ezaraku, Dante Fowler, Sam Williams. Punish these smaller guys so that you can get your get back on the ball carrier there, Bryan. Now, let me tell you something else that was important. I want you to take a look at the double team here. Bring that back a little bit. I want y'all to take a look at the double team here that they pull off on Jay Toia. Fantastic job by him of being big, heavy, square, and then getting down on one knee, dealing with the double, creating a pile, so now they can't get Landon Dickerson up on the linebackers there. I'm going to bring that back just a little bit. I want y'all to focus on two things while we're watching here. I want y'all to focus on Dickerson coming off, okay? But also focus on how Kenneth Murray just kind of runs free, because Dickerson is dealing with Toia right now, because Toia is 340 pounds. So when you have that, all you got is fantastic run defense across the board there, Bryan Broaddus. Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and I'm glad you pointed out. It's interesting that Solomon Thomas, so you said a lighter guy, put him in a 5 technique, that head-up technique, and his ability to use his quickness to get inside. But I was really impressed by the young rookie right there. His ability to hold on that double team right there, it just allowed Murray just that split second to get in on the backfield right there. Great job all around of playing some gap defense.
Just for context, too, Bryan Broaddus, that is Landon Dickerson, and that is Jordan Mailata. So next week versus the Giants, they don't have these guys. They don't have top talent like that personnel-wise, so Jay Toia should be down to have another good game. Bryan Broaddus, this was the biggest run of the day. I just kind of want to show it. We'll come back and talk about it.
Today. You and your pulling game. I see what's going on here.
I love movement. I love what Clayton Adams and Scheidenheimer have thunk up here when it comes to O-line movement and getting guys going. Because think about this, Bryan. When we were doing the draft show, day 3, we talked to Clayton Adams. He said, yeah, we're going to do stuff, but we're not going to do it unless we're good at it. So Tyler Booker doesn't always have to be pull guy. Tyler Smith is an athlete for you. So if you want him to lead the way, then fine. Tyler Smith getting out on the edge, dealing with a corner, taking lunch money. Get out the way now, son. Another thing that's important here, Bryan Broaddus, I'm going to continue to praise Tyler Guyton where I have an opportunity to. Tyler Guyton's down block right here, very important. Very important, because if Guyton loses penetration on this down block, then Smith can't get around.
They can't get our guys around the horn. You're absolutely right.
So what you need from Guyton is we're trying to create this wall where we want nothing coming on the opposite side of this. So Guyton on the down block, turn the body, defender away from the football. So now you got...
Watch him run with him, too, as you run the play. He's going to run with this guy up the field.
And they're going to go together. So now you get free access for BB and Tyler Smith. I thought him setting this thing off was fantastic there, Bryan Broaddus. I got one more play, one more thing to show, which was the block of the game, I think. Take a look at Terrence Steele and how he climbs. Look at his angle. Look at his athleticism. Now, if you ask somebody else to pull this block off, maybe they're not athletic enough to go do it. Now we can have our gripes about Terrence Steele versus big characters, but Terrence Steele getting upfield, blocking the free. So when Miles Sanders gets in the open field, he actually has room to run. Bam! Look what happens here, Bryan Broaddus. Now there's nothing but grass. Unfortunately, Zach Bond right there. If it was anybody else chasing him, Miles Sanders may have gotten away with it. But I'm just impressed at Terrence Steele, or just the offensive line in general, Brian, with the eyes to block on the second level and the third level.
I'll tell you what, though, that was super. And look, if we could just show the two young guys, if you look at the guys that you know, your young offensive linemen here and their ability to make these cutoff blocks. You mentioned Guyton on there. You mentioned Book. Look at just as you run the play, you run the play forward here, and they just kind of naturally set up a little bit of a wall there. Stop it right there. Look at that right there. Both those guys are in really good position. Two young guys, two of the first-round picks that you've had the last couple of years on this offensive line doing work right there.
Fantastic work there, Bryan Broaddus. Now, the Cowboys, they have to continue to get clean and, you know, work these things. And, you know, continuity now comes into place, Brian. Now you got your 5 guys. You're positive that these are the 5 that you're going to roll forward throughout the rest of the season. It's just week 1. I would assume by the time you get to week 14 or so, these guys will be a well-oiled machine. They'd be good to go.
Yeah, you're talking about replacing this back already, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, we're getting Miles Sanders up out of there. If that was Jadon Blue would have been gone. Zach Bond wouldn't even stand a chance. Zach Bond would be jogging. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. At this point, Zach Bond would be jogging because he ain't got no hope to go get Jadon Blue. But that's
no hope there.
That's just me being funny. Appreciate you, Bryan.
I appreciate you. That's Voch Lombardi. That's the Scout's Eye. Be doing this for you every week, breaking down plays from the Dallas Cowboys game, but also looking ahead at the opponents every week. Thanks for joining us here on Crown Global Media.